better be. Okay, we're back in live session, and we are right on with, I grabbed the wrong one. Okay, start with department reports, requests, real property, corrected tax bills, Jackson and Salem, that's information only. Resolution A is to cancel penalties in the town of Hebron. It was a Granville School Board bill that inadvertently was paid by Wells Fargo, and it blocked the person from being able to pay it in time, and then they sent the money back to Wells Fargo after the deadline. So it's kind of an anomaly. These things don't normally happen. Somebody just keyed in the wrong number is what we figured.
Well, Wells Fargo paid the wrong parcel.
Yeah, Wells Fargo keyed in the wrong number and paid the wrong parcel. So that money, so the person, I don't know, is the person that they believe and been billed yet? Al, do you know where that's at or not?
So the re-levy would show up on their January bill.
And this is just taking the penalties and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So resolution A. Oh, we got Laura there now. Thanks, Laura.
Yeah. You opened back up the Zoom meeting here. Sorry.
Second by Kathy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, resolution B. Did you want to say anything about that one in Jackson?
No, that's what had happened with that one is the school taxes had been paid, but they were included in the re-levy that was sent back by the school. So they need to be removed from the bill. So that's
Motion for B. Moved by Cassie, second. Dave O'Brien. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
thank you.
Okay, so next up, thanks, Laura. Next up is the treasurer monthly report.
Thanks, Chairman. Run through the packet real quick. We won't want to spend a lot of time. There's not a whole lot to report today. I've got some fairly decent news and then some tempered enthusiasm as well. So, we ended, as you know, 2021 with $5 million over budget on our sales tax. We came in just a little bit over $26 million. And you'll see that I've also included this year's sales tax. We got the first deposit in on Monday, and that deposit was already $424,000 over this time last year. So that is the estimate deposit. The one that's coming on Monday will be a better reflection of where we are right now, because this deposit, remember, is their guess on what we're trending. The Monday's deposit will be the true up to what actually was deposited. So if Monday's deposit is even flat, that's a good sign. I think that my best guess, because of the lag and the timing, is we're going to continue to see the growth that we've had, at least in the first and second quarters. Beyond that, Mr. Heff might not be wrong in some of the trending, and I hope that he's wrong, but he might not be. So I think the first two quarters we're going to be fairly safe. What happens after that will be the interesting. Budget time will be an interesting ride for us this year, I think, in the sales tax world. The next thing I provided for you is the update on where we are budget to actual last year. My best guess still hasn't changed. I think that we're going to add $6 million to fund balance. You know, five of that's going to be driven directly from the sales tax. And then we have another $1 million, which is probably even a conservative number. I don't even have my payroll breakage at this point figured into that $6 million. Those numbers are now final, so I can get that number for you. I didn't have time to run that today. I think the $6 million might even be conservative. So we're looking at, I think, at minimum of going up $6 million over the 2020 fund balance. And remember, that doesn't include the ARP monies which you had taken and invested in the barn project. So none of that growth is from the federal American Relief Plan monies at all. That is all driven by sales tax and other. So we had some other areas where the revenues were better than expected and the expenses were able to be, a little bit more controlled because some things we couldn't do, right? So between some of the revenues being up and some of the expenses being down, we benefited there. So that's
Still have a tax sale that hasn't happened in 2 years too, so.
yeah. I'm going to only briefly touch on that because I'll inform you what I know and then can't tell you what I don't know. So so that's as far as my packet goes. That's all I had to share. The one area where I do have some concerns right now, and I'm kind of hoping that it finds a resolution sooner than later. Our Marshelli aid from the state continues to be a problem. I looked at it, and as of this morning, they're on the hook for $4.5 million to me right now. That is concerning to me for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to grow $6 million in fund balance and still end up with a cash flow problem. That doesn't help anybody, right? Because we've got a ban coming due next month, and if Marshelli was flush and didn't owe me $4.5 million, I may be able to reduce that renewal, and in turn reduce the amount of interest they're paying. So the more money that I've got to leave out there on that ban, the more interest we're going to have to pay. So there's a direct cost to the county by that Marshelli money not flowing. So it's not just cash flow issue. There's an actual dollar cost if I can't reduce that short-term borrowing.
And we need to know
What's
that.
even worse is if I have to increase the short-term borrowing, because in addition to the $4.5 million, she was just awarded. You're going to see resolutions in the packet where she was just awarded 2 more grants that you have to front load and apply for the reimbursement. Plus Shushan Bridge is coming online this spring. So we've got some significant cash outflows coming that.
And our drop dead date's about 7 days from today, right?
Exactly 7 days.
Yeah, so.
By next Friday, I have to have the numbers.
Okay. So hopefully we'll have an update by then, because everything had to get resubmitted, right? That's kind of where the holdup is now.
They made them redo some claims, is my understanding, and I understand that there was also
the whole region.
something in Region 1, not specific to Washington County,
Yeah.
but our region. So I don't know what's behind it. I know Deb was looking into it for me, and we've reached out to Aaron Frankenfeld as well to see if there's any kind of something that makes sense. And I know the last conversation that we had with DOT, they were the lady that we spoke to was rather surprised. So there was nothing on her radar that was a problem. So stay tuned. But that cash flow issue with Marshelli is my only area of concern currently, really.
Well, with good reason.
Yeah. And the update on the foreclosures, as you know, the moratorium did expire January 15th. So I immediately began picking up where we left off. You know, the 18s were farther than the 19s and 20s. The 19s and 20s were literally just starting. Shortly after I began the process of moving forward with the 18s, I was provided a document that I did share with the county attorney about how the justices have interpreted how we move forward. And for whatever reason, the tax lien auctions, are still being required to have the consultations, the conferences, I think they're called. So it's not that we won't be able to foreclose, but it is going to definitely be a much different looking process for me this year. The number of parcels is extremely higher than normal. We're still in the 80 parcel range on the 18s, which should have been down to 35, 40 by now. And now I'm going to be required to meet with each one of them prior to any action. So, and I'll be able to do that, but it's not something that we're going to be able to do tomorrow.
So is that timeline that the letters go out, or the consultations happen before the letters even go out?
So the letters go out, but before you can actually go and get your summary judgment, each one of these has to have a scheduled conference. And
But you would still expect that some of them would get paid before that, if they get the letter.
Right, and that when we send the certified mailers out, that does spark some action by some of the delinquent taxpayers. The other thing that I'm digging through now is I've become aware of a homeowner assistance fund program that they haven't really given a whole lot of guidance on yet, but it looks like that's a program that's going to be able to help delinquent taxpayers as well. So I think that one of the reasons they may have extended these conferences is so that we have to give the taxpayers information on this homeowner relief. And again, at the end of the day, my goal is to get the county's lien made whole, not to take the property. So if these consultations end up in them filling out a homeowner's relief application, which gets them some federal funding to keep them in their home, that's a win for everybody. So again, remember at the end of the day, the goal is to get the lien made whole. We need the money, right? So we're not in the real estate business. We're in the tax collection business. So that's what I know right now. But the possible downside is it may push the 18 auction into the fall. We had talked about possibly having a spring and a fall this year because the 18s were so close to fruition. It may push that.
Everything back.
It may push that back. If I've got to personally meet with 75 property owners, it's gonna take some time to get through that process. And they can decline to meet with me. I mean, the burden is on me to offer it. They don't have to accept it. You know what I mean? Out of the 75, 45 could say yes, and 75 could say yes. So, you know, stay tuned, and I'll keep you abreast of what I know as I know it.
Anybody have any questions? Chase Kelly?
Yeah, just on the Marcellis, I was talking to Deb just before she went on vacation, and we were discussing this, and I'm not sure if it's what you're already updated on it, but she thought that whoever was advising them, Region 1 down in Albany, was telling them the incorrect way to send some of this stuff in, and they're trying to get that sorted out, that whoever was advising Region 1 on filling out the forms for that.
So it might be as simple as a clerical correction, Jen?
That's kind of what she was indicating.
That would be fantastic if it was that simple.
The other thing, back on our sales tax, would you say probably the largest percentage of our jump in revenue, unexpected revenue, is probably the high gas prices and sales tax?
So last time I checked, our two biggest drivers that I can tell, because again, I only get, 10,000 foot view of the numbers. Gas prices are absolutely driving some of it. But again, remember that Washington County, the more online shopping that happens, we're one of those rural counties that can only benefit from it. So with not having a lot of brick and mortar stores, the more people they're shopping online and delivering to their houses. And it looks like if there's any silver lining in COVID at all, people have discovered that shopping from home really isn't too bad. And even people, now that they can go back to the Walmarts and the Targets, are finding that Amazon is still a good way to do business. So we've created some new habits in our county residents that seem to have been, good. Not to mention the fact that we are seeing some new business development. We're seeing Dollar Generals pop up. We're seeing things like that come into the county, and new business absolutely is going to help us all day long too. So I think there's a few different factors that are unique to our county.
And the reason I was asking is, touching back on what Dina said there, the state and federal start rolling back, taxes on fuel. Is that going to kick us there on some of the gains and revenues that we've been having because of this? Or?
It absolutely could have an effect, but not to the extent that we're growing. Mr. Hicks?
All right, so I'll plead ignorance here and say I don't understand this. If the cost of gasoline is $2 a gallon, there are Fed taxes on that, state taxes on that, and sales tax on that?
Yes.
Yes.
And so the Fed tax and state tax are generally a fixed amount,
Yes.
and the sales tax is a percentage amount.
Yes.
Are those the three major components?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay, thank you. But wait too long, they're all prove all.
Did you produce that?
But I don't think our sales tax is paid on federal and state tax, so it would only be different if they take the county tax away from it, and I don't know if the state will do that or not, but I'm not sure the state will give up their sales
Your
tax.
whole price will drop, Brian. So.
Yeah, I don't think the state will give up their sales tax, right? So, very interesting.
You got Sue, Brian?
So,
On a gasoline, Al, they would only tax the take 18.9 cents off for federal tax and so much off for New York State. That wasn't taxed before anyway.
Right.
The sales tax.
But it won't change our sales tax delivery. It won't change our sales tax delivery. The only change of
Right.
sales tax delivery will be on the actual.
Price of the fuel itself, the product price, because you don't pay tax on tax.
If what Mr. Haff is saying is they're looking at exempting gasoline from tax, that's a significant impact on us, but not to the extent that we're growing. I mean, we'll feel it, but it won't crush us. There are already some things that the state doesn't tax, as Mr. Campbell found out recently. So, we have a tax on clothing that the state doesn't have. So there are some disconnects currently. We'll see what they do with that tax going forward.
Any more questions for Al? Okay, so we'll move on to the resolutions. So we're up to Resolution C to amend the public health budget carryover unspent funds. There's a few of these coming up, so. Is there a motion to move these forward? Starting with C.
So if I make the motion, I'll try to move on all of them, and somebody seconds on all of them, that way Debbie can just keep track of one person making that motion. Make your job a little easier if we do that, Brian, but I'll move C.
Boy, we could do that.
Dave will second C.
I'm trying to see how many of them are just carryovers, because they're all basically the same thing. Unless there's if there's any that anybody's seen that they wanted to. I think it's through K. No, that's not right. It's not.
It's through K, it looks like it.
Through H and I. J's not a carryover, right? Right. So it'd be C through H. And they're moved by Mr. Hicks. But we would still have to do them all separately at the big board meeting, is that correct? Deb? Yes.
Second.
Yes.
Yep.
Second by Darryl and Cassie. Any discussion? 8.5.
I know that this is a calendar thing and we get the money not that long ago and we can't spend it in time, but do we ever spend it all at the end of 365 days, no matter when those days start?
Yeah.
Well, if they qualify, sometimes it's money that you have to do certain things with, and if you qualify, it pays them, and if it doesn't qualify, you don't get to spend it.
The department makes every effort to spend every penny.
Yeah.
But what is not spent, does it get sent back?
So they're all reimbursement grants, so
Yeah.
if you don't spend it, you don't get it.
Right.
Okay.
And it's all federal and state programs that they want to have happen, so that's the whole idea. Keeps it from being local money. It's when they make us spend it that it's harder on us.
All right, thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we're on to J. Public health budget for Public Health Corps Fellowship Program.
You said through H, so we want to move I there?
Oh, I thought
I had to carry over as well, Brian.
I was carried over.
Move.
Are we good, Deb, or no?
3 through 8, right?
Okay, so I have to be moved, yes. Yes, you moved it.
Second.
Second by Darryl. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. J is Public Health Budget for Public Health Corps Fellowship Program.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie Fedler. Second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Cleary? Darryl, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. K is another carryover unspent emergency rental assistance program.
Move it.
Moved by Cassie, seconded by Sue. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. L is IT budget for website upgrade. Motion. Moved by Cassie, seconded by Dave O'Brien. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. M is to amend the 2021 budget for psychiatric expense. A motion, moved by Dave O'Brien, second by Cassie Sudley and Sue Clary. Any discussion on that?
Just a little bit, Brian.
Go ahead, Jay.
Just like we said in the other meeting, Al, it seems like we're always taking deep dive for some big cash on this. You hate the budget and then have it just sitting there, but as long as I've been here, we keep going in and digging pretty deep to keep covering these costs. And, you know, maybe it ought to be budgeted higher.
And a half.
Can supervisors use this money? Because I tell you, I need it every second Thursday of the month.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution N is mental health budget for jail-based transition release services. Moved
Second.
by Dave O'Brien, second by Darrell and Cassie. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution O, sewer district number 2 budget for office furniture. Moved by Dave O'Brien, is there a second? Cassie Fedler, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. P is to amend capital project 113 Homeland Security Grant award. Moved by Dave O'Brien. For a second. Cassie Fedler. Darrell Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Q is to amend the 2022 public safety budget to carry over unspent emergency management performance grant.
So moved.
Moved by Cassie.
Second.
Second by John Bell and Darrell Wilson. Any discussion on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We're carried. Okay, resolution R is to amend the capital project number 126, County Route 61 budget over the Batten Kill, and this is the Marcia Sully grant one that was referred to earlier. Motion. Moved by Jay Skelly, second by John Rozell, Darrell Wilson, Cassie Fedler. Any discussion?
Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Noel.
One thing that I don't seem to have in here, if I could respectfully request an amendment on it, we probably are going to need to authorize an interfund loan too. If the borrowing is insufficient and the Marshall funds don't flow, I can always come back to you for the loan later if you want, but there's no harm in having it. I'd rather have it in place and not need it than need it and not have it, if that makes any sense.
So you want it amended to say the ability to loan?
Be it further resolved that the Washington County Treasurer is authorized to make an interfund loan up to the amount of the Marshall aid.
Okay.
We have verbiage that we've used before.
Yeah, is there a motion for that amendment? Moved by Jay Skelly, second by Sue Clary, Darrell Wilson, John
Again, I
Rozell.
have no idea when the money will flow again, so.
All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Amendment's carried. Back to the original resolution. R. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone?
Thank you.
Carried. Sir. Okay, resolution 7 is Church Street, then that capital project. The motion. Moved by Dave O'Brien, second. Cassie Fedler, Darrell Wilson, John Rozell. Any discussion?
Does that still
Okay.
apply with this one? Al, do you need the same amendment to this one, or are you good?
No, this one's actually wrapped up. I'm good with this one.
Thank you.
This one's finished. We're good to go. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution T, to authorize the acceptance of a WQIP grant. Moved by Dave O'Brien, seconded by Cassie Fedler, Darrell Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution U, we're on none, no letters. Authorize another, water quality improvement grant. Moved by Dave, second by Cassie.
Second.
Darrell Wilson, any discussion? All in
Brian,
favor, say-
Brian,
Yep,
it's pretty minor, but Kearney Cassidy Road, I'm pretty sure is in Jackson, not in Cambridge. Just because it's listed down there as in Cambridge.
That's the chart they gave us.
which road are we on?
No, that's in Jackson. In Jackson?
Kearney Cassidy Road is listed in Cambridge, it's in Jackson.
They want to tell DPW, but they think it's in Cambridge too.
They're gonna replace the culvert in Jackson so the water flows to Cambridge.
There you go.
Hey, that's what you're planning on doing?
Cambridge is downhill from Jackson.
Being clerical, I think we can just pass that with that change.
Yeah, if it's not, we'll do it. The chart that we have says Cambridge.
All
We're
in
up on
favor?
this, Reddit.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, and resolution V, authorize the implementation and funding in the first instance 100% of federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible costs for a federal aid project, County Route 37 Burgoyne Avenue renovation. Moved by Dave O'Brien, second. Jeffrey Fessler. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. You got
Aye.
something else?
Well, update the committee that you will at some point see a budget amendment for this, but not until we have a signed contract.
Okay. Carried. Okay, now other business, administrator.
Yeah. I was asked by the superintendent of public works to bring an item of business that is kind of time sensitive. We have 2 bids that were out for trucks for DPW. Those bids just came back yesterday, actually. So she would like approval from the committee and award those bids. The first one is for a 2022 F-250 truck. This is a truck that is going to go to our sign shop, and then the sign shop that currently has a vehicle, that's going to go to buildings and grounds to replace their existing truck. So this is the 2022 F-250. The price is $41,705.18. And that was from, Buyer Ford.
Moved by Dave O'Brien to accept the bid. Is there a second? Dale Wilson, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay.
Okay, and the second bid was for a 2022 3500 Silverado Crew, 8-foot bed. This truck has a plow mounted onto it, and then they're going to install the dump insert, and sander from another vehicle. This is a foreman's truck, and this is needed to replace the vehicle in rotation. This is a bid again for the 2022 3500 Silverado Crew. The price is $51,804.85, and this is from Denoyer Chevrolet.
Okay, motion to accept that. Moved by Dave O'Brien. Is there a second? Darrell Wilson, Cassie Fedler. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And just an item of interest, the sheriff's office was looking to get Tahoes. We had no results for the bid for the Tahoes, so they're going to be rebidding today for Durangos instead, and that's for the sheriff's office. So that'll be coming up at a future public works meeting, I'm sure.
It's the same thing that happened last year, right?
Yeah. The Tahoes are with the Granville van, I believe. Oh, well. Thank you very much. Okay, we had one more piece of business, am I correct?
Can I do a clarification for Mr. Hicks? So you asked about the taxes. There is in New York State an excise tax of 8 cents a gallon. So it's imposed per gallon. There's an additional excise tax of 17 cents a gallon for a total tax of 25 cents per gallon, and then sales taxes are added on to the sale price.
So an excise tax doesn't mean it's not a percentage, it means it's a flat number?
It's of per gallon. So every gallon you sell, no matter how much that gallon costs, you pay the excise tax on the gallon.
25 cents.
They're flat rates.
25 cents flat rate, right.
But the sales tax which is the other tax.
is on the total cost.
Oh,
So that's
it's
what,
including the 25. It's on the
I don't know if it includes the 25%. I'm just saying that it will fluctuate versus an excise tax will not fluctuate. And then you add on another federal motor excise tax of 18.5 cents a gallon. Now you're talking real money. But so some taxes,
There goes the pay for the
my
road,
point is
so.
some taxes are per gallon and some taxes are per sale.
And the federal taxes should be uniform across all states,
Yes,
Right.
and all state taxes are all different.
Yes.
right.
And what's the state sales excise tax, state excise tax?
The excise tax is 25 cents a gallon. State, or 23 cents a gallon, or not diesel, I'm sorry, 25 cents a gallon on gas, 23 cents a gallon on diesel.
Thank you.
In addition to sales tax and federal tax and stuff. So the answer is it depends on the tax.
That's really true. Okay, so, Roger, now do you want to give us the reason why we're gonna try to have an executive session?
Brian, before I move into that, could I just, because I don't know if we're going to adjourn out of there or not, but I have two things before going to executive session. One is
Okay.
Mr. Hankey asked me to apologize to the rest of the board members for his early departure, but he had a big truck that caught on fire. So he was running down to take a look at that, and he did text me and tell me that the employee was okay. There were no injuries as a result of that. I don't know the status of the truck, but he asked me to apologize to the supervisors that he had to depart so rapidly. And then the second thing I want to touch on is the mask, public masking that was put out. We will be addressing that on the 18th at our board meeting. We put the requirement on by resolution, so therefore we need to remove it by resolution if that's what we so decide to do. Resolution be prepared for that purpose, and then we can debate it out there and take a vote on it. And that'll bring the mask thing, hopefully to closure one way or the other here in the interim. So those are the only two things I had that I wanted to bring up. So I didn't know if we were going to adjourn out of executive session or if we're going to come back into regular session. So.
I have one.
Yes,
One
Dana.
It's been so long since I've been to the county building, but currently right now on the doors, is there a sign that says mask required to enter?
There is.
But the resolution by the county says that you only need to wear a mask if you cannot be socially distanced from people 6 feet apart. So I think that sign is not quite in compliance with our resolution, but hopefully on the 18th, it'll all go away.
That's correct, Dana. Yes. Thank you.
Very good. All right.
We're good.
Since we can't meet to just talk to Larry, you gotta give
Or me, for that matter. And that is leading to the appointment, promotion, demotion, and hiring, firing of a particular individual.
Okay, and we, as far as I know, we will adjourn from this, right? So, yeah, we will be adjourning from this meeting after executive session. Yeah, I need a motion, that's true. Dave?
Second.
Carol Olson? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried.
Well, so you want me to stay?
Dana, are you gonna sponsor that